What are we going to be discussing this evening? We're going to be talking about Mountaineer quarterback J.T. Daniels, diving into some of his performance against TCU, diving into some of his overall grades for the season according to Pro Football Focus. And we're going to talk about a little bit what Pro Football Focus is, how it's scored, and why it's used by 80 FBS teams and all 32 NFL teams. Stay tuned for a hot take.
This is for Cameron.
What is up, Mountaineer Nation? My name is Mountaineer Paul. Nice to have you in here this evening. Thanks for watching. Before we get started, if you don't mind, like the video for me. Just give it a little like. If you want to have a comment on the video, if you want to disagree with me this evening, that's fine. I'm going to be supporting some of this argument with numbers, and I'm going to title this thing, Numbers Never Lie, because that's the case. I've got some tape from Neil Brown's press conference. I've got Mike Cassaza. I've got some of his tape from an Iowa State preview that he did, where they both cite their feelings for J.T. Daniels. Let's get into it.
To win, and offensively, statistically, did some really good things, and ran the ball against a team that hadn't been ran very much against. I think we had the highest run totals of the year maybe against them, and just didn't make enough plays at winning time. You know, I thought 2 missed opportunities in the red zone after the takeaway on the punt was huge, and then having the ball 3rd and goal at the 4 and not be able to score a touchdown. And then we missed a lot of shot plays, especially in the second half. We had guys open and getting connect with some of those balls down the field. You know, I thought Sam James played really, really well. He could have had, you know, a huge game if we were able to connect because he was open a lot. And then the last drive was just extremely disappointing. You know, that's what you want. You want your offense to have an opportunity to go win the game. We had that. We didn't take advantage of it. So.
Hey, real quick, guys. I want to give Mike Asti with West Virginia Sports Now and Mike Cassaza with eerssports.now and also 247 Sports credit for those 2 videos right there. All right, thanks. Back to the video. Wow, how telling was that? Some of you guys criticized me about a week ago when I released a bench J.T. Daniels video. You said the wide receivers weren't getting open enough. He didn't have enough time to throw the ball. Those are the things that were said to me, and it really made me rethink my stance on it, because I thought maybe I'm just being a little bit too hard on J.T. Daniels here. Then I dove into the numbers and realized, no, I was right. And Neil Brown only corroborates that fact. He said Sam James was open. That means the ball was not delivered to him. Let's see what Mike Cassaza had to say before we go any further.
I think when you just look at the numbers for Daniels, how about this thing? If you looked at their offensive improvements, and if you look at, let's not say 19 because that was so tough, and 20 was difficult, but like last year they had somewhat of a veteran group, a lot of the same players they had this year, but from last year to this year, and you look at the differences in the growth margins, you would think that Daniels has had a terrific season. And here we are, 8 games in, you can think, man, he's got to be pushing like 20 touchdowns, and how many picks does he have? What's his yards per attempt? What's his yards per game? Go look at his numbers. Again, compare last year offensively versus this year offensively. Points per game, yards per game, so on and so forth. It's not because of Daniels. So you would say, wow, this transfer.
Once again, not because of J.T. Daniels. The reason this offense is performing has very little to do with J.T. Daniels and a lot to do with Graham Harrell. I think J.T. Daniels performed very well in the first game of the season against Pitt. He's had a few games throughout where he has performed well, but overall, he stunk it up. Hasn't been the quarterback I think a lot of us expected to come in with that 5-star pedigree. I understand a lot of you guys are going to disagree with this, but understand that I'm a passionate Mountaineer fan too. And we've had greats come through these doors. Our quarterback standards are really high. Let's keep them high. Pat White, Major Harris, Geno Smith, Will Greer, Rasheed Marshall, Skylar Howard. Skylar Howard's not playing J.T. Daniels by a country mile. I understand the players aren't the same on these rosters. Still and yet, my friend Kuz and I were talking about this earlier. A great quarterback raises the play of his teammates. I said this last week. That's the truth. So let's dive into the numbers just a little bit here. Okay. On 83% of his dropbacks against TCU, J.T. Daniels was clean. An average of 2.5 seconds to get rid of the ball. In Graham Harrell's screen-heavy offense, that's enough, which is why he completed 9 balls behind the line of scrimmage, what you would call gimmies. He was against TCU on passes 10 or more yards down the field. To the left, he was 0 for 2. He didn't even try it. That's usually where Bryce Ford Wheaton is in a lot of the plays. Over the middle, 2 for 6, 33% margin there. To the right, 1 for 3, 33%. Passes that traveled 20 or more yards. Like I said earlier, the total number, 2 for 8. He was 1 for 5 for 35 yards and an interception to the left. 1 for 3, 23 yards, 33% overall on that as well. Overall, 2 for 8 on the day. Just unacceptable numbers on what was a pretty pleasant day to throw the football. Just unacceptable numbers. Really expected more from JT, and really was really, because this was after Neil Brown had a chance to see the all 22. This is where they get that bird's eye view. They get to look down and really dissect what's going on there. And for him to say that Sam James was open as often as he was and could have had a monster day is an indictment against JT Daniels. I understand, guys. There are other pieces of this offense that could be performing well. All I'm saying is, what if we made a change at quarterback? Would it make a difference? We're not winning any games as it is. So why not try to grow somebody else into that spot? We don't know if JT Daniels is going to come back next year. A lot of people think he might come back, but there's no guarantee. He may be fed up with Morgantown, decide to transfer even again. Or he may just say, screw it, I'm going to work out in front of a pro scout. I trust my arm and try to make it pro. So what is Pro Football Focus? What exactly does Pro Football Focus do, and why are they employed by all 32 NFL teams and over 80 FBS schools? At the end of the day, they break it down on a 100-point scale. Let's get a little picture of something I made here. So, a replaceable quarterback or player, 0 to 59. Backup, 60 to 69. Starter, 70 to 84. Starter, 70 to 84. All conference, 85 to 89. All American, 90 to 100. JT Daniels on the season ranks as a backup, according to Pro Football Focus. I'll read them off as we go. Against Pitt, 77. Not bad. That's around starter capacity. Kansas, 59.7. Towson, 68.6. Virginia Tech, 74.8. Texas, 64.2. Baylor, 75.5. Texas Tech, 53.3. TCU, 55.7. For an average of 67.6 so far on the season. That is backup status, according to Pro Football Focus, a service that, like I said, 80 FBS teams and all 32 NFL teams use. Numbers never lie. To use an analogy as to exactly how Pro Football Focus scores things, think of it like this. If a quarterback throws a screen pass on a play and a receiver catches it or a running back, breaks 3 or 4 tackles and scores the ball, well, the receiver did 99% of the work. The quarterback did what any quarterback should be able to do, to deliver an easy pass. That's basically how Pro Football Focus scores things. They give credit where credit is due. If a quarterback fits a ball in between 3 defenders, out of harm's way, with room to run for the receiver, they get a positive score. I think they score in increments of 0.2 and in negatives of 0.2. It's very complicated. I tried to familiarize myself with it as much as I could to tell you guys. One other definition I read about it, and it says positive plays above expectation are rewarded on that scale. Penalties for negative plays in increments of 0.5. I broke it down for you guys. I played the video from Neil Brown. I played the video from Mike Cassaza. I showed you guys the scale and where JT fits on Pro Football Focus. What do you guys think? Am I overreacting? Do you guys hate me now? Let me know, man. I want the Mountaineers to win. I still want to go to a bowl this year. Does JT give us the best chance to do that? He very well might give us the best chance to go to a bowl. Most definitely, I want to see Garrett Green, Goose Crowder, Nico Marchiol, one of those three guys step in, preferably Nico. It was up to me. He seems to be the future. But who knows with Neil Brown? You never know what you're going to get. Seems like Garrett Green's the front runner to play if we're going to be like that right now. Yeah, I'll take anything. Just any kind of change. Thank you guys for watching Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. Like I said, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And share this with all your friends, man. Share it across Twitter if you think I'm a dummy. Think if you guys want to berate me for this take, it's all good. There are just people that are going to simply not going to like you, So I've grown to accept that as well. I'm okay with the take that I have. I feel like there's merit in it. So that's where I'm at with it. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for me. This show is over. Mountaineer Paul is out.
This is for Cameron. Tim Kill.